Would you rather have more data or more time?
More data. If I would have more data, I would have more time for sure.
Welcome to the Connected Shopfloor podcast, where we explore real stories and big ideas that keep the factory floor buzzing.
In today's episode, we had Margarida Silva, COO of AM Furniture Group. And it was such an interesting and fascinating episode where we talked about the furniture sector and how it has been evolving, different challenges, and for instance, how a truck was loaded full of furniture and got into Russia with the furniture completely broken. So many different stories and insights, which I hope you will love it. I'm Marco Chan, and this is the Connected Shopfloor podcast. To kick off our conversation, I have here a piece of news from Econews, which we'll leave in the comment section, and which tells us that the Portuguese furniture exports have once again surpassed the €2 billion mark in 2024 for the second consecutive year. Now, I know there was a small drop compared to last year, and some countries such as Switzerland have gained some momentum. Nevertheless, Portuguese exports seem to be maintaining an impressive level and showing a good ability to compete abroad. But how should I see these results? Should I be concerned? Should I be excited? Or a little bit of both?
Well, I would say a little bit of both, but it's true that we are very excited in our sector because, in fact, for many years ago, it was just the shoes industry and textile industry and furniture industry was not so performing in exports. And in fact, over the years, we overcome those sectors.
When you look at the ecosystem, how do you see AM Furniture's growth over the years, and how it has been, playing such a big role in this market and the way it's growing?
In fact, we have been growing since our 63 years old history. We have growth, and in fact, we export almost, I would say, 98%, and even the 2% that can be like national market. The mainly customers are foreigner customers that live in Portugal. Now we are a little bit more working with national customers, but mainly with international markets, even in our country. But it's a teamwork, a big teamwork, and not just for our team that we have in production or the entire factory, but also all the relationships that we have built along the years with our stakeholders, with our suppliers, with our business partners. This is very important to ensure the growth and to be able to be leading in this sector.
It's impressive to see. You said more than 60 years that you were able to grow, and you came from a family-owned business in Portugal, in Paços de Ferreira. And now, as you said, it's like it's being exported. We can almost say 100%, right? And for more than 60 countries. How does one start that? How is the first day that I know I'm here producing in Portugal, I'm doing my furniture? How do I go abroad?
It's very interesting because it's the export started from Paços de Ferreira to Lisbon. From this small village in outskirts of Porto, so that starts to sell to Lisbon. Well, this is just a joke, but it was a big step at that time. It was a big step. Around 2000, we had a French classic collection that we still have. And we start, of course, that we were looking to this nearby market, Spain. Usually it happens with this proximity markets. So we start we had a sales agent. Now the sales agent is a figure, or not a figure, it's a job, or that is no longer valuable as it was at that time. So at that time, they were sales agents, and they were looking to companies like ours in the furniture industry And they had our catalogs. At that time, we just had one business area, which was selling to retail shops. So this Spanish sales agent came to us. He met our furniture, our small factory at the time. He asked us to represent our furniture in Spain. So he would go. His job was going to the retail shops, presenting our catalogs, and we were in selling furniture, and it was a very easy business at the time because it was the furniture from our catalog. So no, we didn't need so many development or technical drawings. Everything is much easier at that time. And in fact, when we entered the Spanish market, we had a very good quality price ratio, and this was our main strength, to be very known, to enter the market and to get very known. And once you get this visibility, then it's very easy to grab the attention of other sales agents, international sales agents. So from Spain, we moved to France, Italy. So, and it was like this Benelux countries and across all Europe. And then until China, Taiwan, we used to have in China a mono brand shop, because at that time our brand was AM Classic. And we used to have a shop in Beijing with our brand AM Classic from one of our customers. And then later on in Eastern countries like Russia, that nowadays it's no longer a market, but it was one of our main markets during a long time. But this was when we still had just our brand. Of course, that when as we were presenting in trade shows, in the main international trade shows in the furniture sector, like Isaloni, Milano, or Maison et Objet, this was also very important at that time, because the trade shows were really very important at that time for visibility, for making contacts. And we met also an agent to the US. So that's when we started to work with the United States, like 25 years ago. And at the same time, we were developing new business areas, because of course we need to be aware of what is the market going, the customers' demand. So we start to produce for other brands, for a big German brand, and then for American brands, French brands also. And hospitality came at the same time. We started with a resort in Portugal, but then in the US, then Israel. So at the same time, there were new business. We were creating and developing new businesses, and also, once again, the new markets like the US, that now is our main market. So it was a long evolution, but that's a result of trying as much as possible to answer to the markets and to the customers' demands.
But you don't sell B2C, right? You always do B2B, and then you
Yes.
have people reselling your products, right?
Yes, our main business is B2B. Also, we have some B2C customers, because we used to have a showroom nearby the
That's the
factory.
2% you still have in Portugal. Okay,
Yes,
got it.
we still have some B2C, or have some end customers, but our main customers are B2B. And of course, I would say that it's very important, that it seems that everything is very easy when we talk about this evolution and going and answer to the demands and the markets and trends. But there were many challenges across this evolution, because the regulatory of each country, the logistics, the communication, we need to adapt ourselves, even the production, because we were scaling up different kinds of products, different kind of businesses, new materials, but at the same time we needed to maintain our quality and in quality in terms of product, in terms of service, which is not so easy when you need to scale up to ensure that you maintain these high level standards.
Yeah, exactly. That was exactly my next question. Was trying to understand, if you have this diverse market, and especially in terms of design, when you look into design from China to Russia to the US, I think and that's a good thing. We like things a different way. Um, how do you adapt to this different um, design needs, and then how does that reflect in terms of production?
Yes. In fact, if we are talking about our brand, that now is our AM Living brand. At that time was AM Classic, and then there is Evolution, and now we have different collection. It's AM Living. Regarding our brand, it was not so much to align to the trends because we were pretty much focused on our identity. uh, as we had, as you said, with different customers, different products, different markets, we needed to reinforce our technical department. We needed to reinforce our purchasing department. We needed to even to adapt our production techniques. We have to invest in innovation and different production processes. So it was, in fact, we became very flexible, and I think this is one of our biggest advantage, is that we became a very flexible company, that we are able to do different things in a very high level quality and standards, and in the same installation. So we have a very strong, of course, then with this it comes the organization, that it needs to be very solid organization, a very strong organization, because otherwise it's impossible to get this business profitable. So
You said something that's very interesting. So from the beginning, you started with using your own identity. And I've heard other companies, just as Renault and others, they try to enter certain markets, such as Brazil and so forth, and they positioned themselves the same way as they were doing in Europe, and it just failed completely. But maybe here, because it's a more something that it's more trendy, or I actually want to buy something that it's designed in France or designed in Italy, uh, is is that the reason why you can enforce it a little bit more? Or you ended up adapting to each of the countries in terms of the products you sell?
in fact, we didn't, because we are very attached to our DNA, and our DNA comes from the classic. We want to produce timeless pieces. We don't want to produce a piece that will be overdue, or no, we want a timeless piece. We want a piece of furniture that can be kept in the family.
Go generation after
From
generation.
generation to
So it
generation.
cannot be trendy, right, for a certain
Exactly.
period of time.
Of course,
Okay.
that we in our contemporary collection, that can be not so much as our classic collection, and it's and when we mean contemporary, of course, that is something not so timeless. But even though we always try to include our classic touch, so it can in fact reveal our identity. So that's why we always work with the veneers, the wood veneers, the marquetry, so the inlays, all the details and the expertise that you need to have, and that you just can have it if you come from this, if you have this savoir-faire that comes from
Yeah, exactly.
the artisans and the craftsmanship.
And talking about production, right? So one thing that we know is you have these diverse markets and these diverse processes and innovation coming in, and now there's always the matter of physical scale because you're producing a product. And nowadays you have more than 22,000 square meters of production space, which, just to give some perspective, is more than 3 football fields. uh, is it possible with such a huge production site to stand on everything that is happening on the factory day to day?
Yeah, yes, it is possible, but that once again, the secret is the organization, because you need to have a very well organized institution. I mean, when you need to have hierarchy, you need to have departments, you need to have the sections, you have to have the subsections. So, and a very well trained staff. But at the same time, and along the years, we have invested in certifications like the quality, the environmental, human resources, forestry, or for and all these certifications, most or they are not just to have a flag when you enter to the factory. It's because this imply procedures, and the procedures like to understand what is going okay or well, or what is not going. If there is a mistake, why it happened, and to understand the reason, and to improve. So you need to make an action to correct. So is this continuous improving? And we have also a Kaizen team in the factory, so that help us to understand and to improve every day, because in fact in the industry every day there are issues. I don't say problem. And sometimes, for instance, it's something very simple, like you have an employee that's working in a very specific position, and is the only one doing that. If something happened with them, that's a problem. That's why we try to overcome these situations, making our people train. We promote them to be trained in different sections, so they can be flexible and moving from one place to the other, so they and try as much as possible to have alternative workflows. But there are even in logistics, there are so we had a fun. Well, now I can say that it's a funny story, but it was not at the time, and it was 2 weeks ago. You have everything very well organized. You have a container, or you have your logistics team, everything packed, everything labeled, and suddenly they close the container. My people say, "Yeah, we did it because." For 2 weeks, we were loading 3 containers per day.
What's the standard normally?
Usually, it can be 3 or 4 containers per week.
Okay, so
Yes.
that's a lot. Okay,
Or
so
five
that's a lot.
containers per week, but not 3 per day. So that it was something that never happened in our company. But we have our team with us, so it was very, I wouldn't say easy, but at the end it was easy to put all the people together and to organize them in shifts and teams, and people from the different sections from the different areas of the company, of the factory, and they were all helping there in the final assembly, in the packaging, in the loading. So our people was really happy and say, yes, everything is packed, container is closed, done, well done, great job. And 1 week later, they were organizing the warehouse, and they noticed that one of the packages from one order to Greece was missing, and they couldn't understand why. They were looking everywhere, with checking and the packing list and everywhere. They couldn't. And then someone said, "Well, we need to check the cameras. Maybe there was something happened. We don't know what. We need to find what happened." And in fact, it was a big volume. It was not just a small volume.
Okay.
It was a big
Not
volume.
something that you can be lost easily. Right?
So what they found, that a new employee that he's with us for around 1 month and a half. When the container was already loaded, we can see him just grabbing this big volume, putting in the truck, and closing the container.
Oh, not supposed to happen.
No, anyone can, and nobody, even himself, he cannot explain why he did that. Can you imagine? That is something absolutely unpredictable. And we just, but why did you do, what did you do that? And so, well, I saw that the package was quite similar, and he just did it. The problem is that the container was already in the ocean to the U.S. So this piece of a table arrived to the New York.
I'm not a geography master, but I know that's two different paths, right? U.S. and Greece are not in the same route.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. So one is by truck, another is by ship. So can you imagine how can this is absolutely unpredictable. And besides all the organization that you might have, this when you have human humans, the error is present all the time. So maybe I went a little bit off of your question. I
No,
don't
but
know.
I have something that is very interesting. If I would be, I hope it's interesting. No, but if I would be a board member, and you would tell me that we were able to do what we normally do per week, we were able to do per day on a regular scale, and I would ask you, why don't we do that every day then? Why isn't that not the standard? If we achieved it once, why don't we do it always?
Well, in fact, our strategy is to become. And I don't know if if it will be in 1 or 2 years to have 3 containers per day, but our strategy, in fact, is to keep growing, and we have a very interesting and also very challenging goals for the next years. So, yes, if we did it once, we can do it again.
But it had some costs, right? So over time, I can imagine people were tired, mistakes were made.
That's why we are already working reinforcing our team, and at the same time that we are investing in innovation and new machinery. And this year we will start a very important consultancy in the company, with a company that is an expert in the furniture industry. Once again, to revise our layouts, our processes, to see what we need, what kind of machinery we have, what we need to buy, what we need to change, what we need to replace, what we need, the processes. Because for us, this is our main goal is to achieve the efficiency, ensuring the quality, and of course have a very productive and profitable company, so we can keep for the future generations. This is our main goal.
Yeah, but you said something that previously might go a little bit against that. Is you said our products are based on the savoir-faire of the people working there, and then you said, but we also need people to be very flexible and work on many different things, and we need this to be agile and to improve and to automate. It, does one thing not go against the other one?
No. In our case, it's a balance. We have a very good combination, and for us, it's a main advantage because when you are playing in the high end segment, or I don't like to say luxury, in the luxury products, because
But
nowadays luxury.
with you are right.
Yes, but nowadays luxury, everybody's talking about luxury, and I
Yes, I
think
know.
and there's a little bit of
Mhm.
confusion about what
What it
is
really
real
means.
luxury. So I don't like so
So
much.
how would you describe luxury? What is actually luxury
The
for you?
luxury is the luxury in the details, the quality of the materials, the personalization, the tailor made, and also when you produce something that is according to ethical, to legal, because in fact, it's not just to have a piece well done. You have a piece well done with the best raw materials, and you have people that were working in that piece, and all of them, they are respected. You are grateful to them. You pay them well. You recognize their work. You respect your suppliers. You have your raw materials. They are, for instance, our wood and wood veneer, which is our main raw materials. They come from sustainable forests. So it's all this chain that makes something valuable. Despite, of course, all the details, and then it implies in the piece of furniture. So when you are working in this high-end segment, the machines, they are not able to replace the human touch, because that level of refinement, it's only possible when you have the human touch. So it's a balance between the automated and the artisanal. In fact, we have both in the factory.
How would you split that right now? So that actually goes along with the next couple of questions I had for you, which is how do you balance this part of bringing technology inside and having manual workstations and fully automatic ones? Uh, what is the ratio you have right now at the moment, and where do you want to get to?
Well, I would say that at the moment, we have 160 people more or less, but in the shop floor we have about 110, 120, and just for the manual maybe is 20 to 25%, because but they are mainly in the joinery. That's when all the pieces or the parts are coming from the machinery and the CNC machines. They come from the joinery. That's where the people there are assembling the pieces, and they are verifying that everything is matching and functional before going to the finishing area. And also in our finishing department, we still have more than 30 people working there, but
That's where you give the manual
yes,
touch on
yes,
something that is very hard to automate, I can
yes.
imagine.
But in any case, we will also have very soon automated finishing line in the finishing department, because as we wanted to grow and still continuous grow, we need to have it for when we have a big hotel project. That is something that we can use this UV, which is a UV line for finishing, and you can have it because there is a repetition. So when we have a repetition of products, it's useful to have this kind of automated lines. So we will have it very, very soon.
So, but then if you look at it from automation side, so I see that it's growing quite a bit, and now it's even going to those fine areas such as finishing. And now we're bringing other technologies in, and as we now talk a lot about artificial intelligence, how do you see that combination between automation and AI coming into such a handcraft sector such as yourself? How do you see that evolving?
I see that it will be very positive, in fact, because it can help us to reduce the error of the human. And I see that it will be a very, very useful tool, especially if we can ensure the quality control and to the standard, the procedures, the standards. For us, it will be very, very, very useful, and we are already working on that. It's how we can implement it and bring it to the factory. That is a subject that we are already working on.
So you don't see it just as hype, like everyone talking about it, and it's just hype, and it's not possible to get in your environment. Have you actually tried yourself? Do you use AI
Yeah,
tools?
we do, especially in the sales and the creative department, the sales, the finance, the creative departments, more for this kind of at the moment for this kind of services or tasks, maybe tasks, not services, tasks. We do, for instance, I can give you the example for the creative department. Here, they can use it to generate, if we have an idea, they have a concept with a piece of furniture, they wanted to do a presentation. So it's very helpful to ask AI to help to improve the presentation or a post for any social media, even then to revise the content to be if to improve the SEO. So in terms of design and communication, is already a very useful tool. But also for the finance department, it is something that in the purchasing department, it is something that we are already, and we had a meeting yesterday to see how we can start to use it, and of course to understand which are the possibilities that are more and more at the moment. But yes, I see it in a very positive way.
You said that previously you implemented Kaizen principles and methodologies, which always it's hard because you have to change a lot the behavior of how people work on a daily basis. Now you bring technology and AI. What is harder to do? Is it to change the way you do your normal work as a process, production process, or to bring in these tools that can empower you to work faster?
The most difficult, I would say, was to change the mindsets
Yeah.
of the people.
That's always the hardest one.
That is the hardest thing.
I agree with you.
Yes, and especially when we are talking in a family-owned company, and we have people working with us for more than 40 years. We have people working with us 20 years, 30 years, 40
So it
years.
was prior to internet, prior to
Yes.
almost color TV.
We have always Christmas party or in the beginning of the beginning of the year we make this annual party with all the people together, and we made a beautiful how do we say homage. No, it's missing the word.
Like a tribute.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. So, and we did a tribute to an employee that was working with us for 50 years.
50. 50.
50, yes, 50.
So he
We
started on year
yeah.
10 then, most likely.
So the most difficult is to change the mindset and the culture, because all the rest, I think that with a good guidance, that is something that we can do it. Of course, in a company with 60 years old is not. We cannot do it in a very fast way if we compare to a new company.
Sorry to interrupt you, but is it really there a correlation between age and the way you're able to adapt to new ways of working? Is it 100% a correlation or not? Or do you also have young people struggling to adapt?
There is, and especially in a company like ours, because as I was saying to you, we have a lot of people that are working with us for many years, so it's more difficult. It's more difficult.
Which makes sense, right?
Yes, but what we do to overcome is to involve the people in these changes and training them, and try as much as possible to explain to them, but especially involve them in the process. Because
But do you also have to change a little bit your team once in a while? Do you have to let some people go because they're not able to adapt and they are constraining the company to grow further?
not yet. Not yet. I wouldn't say that for the moment it's a problem. There is another reality in our company, which is people that is working with us for 40 years that now are going for retirement. Probably some of those functions or jobs can be replaced.
Not really going to find a person to do this exact same thing.
Exactly.
You're going to change a
Especially
little bit
because
the
it will
scope.
be very difficult to find people to do exactly the same thing. But of course, there are jobs here that they can never ever be irreplaceable. That's for sure. But there are others that, of course, that the innovation and that the technology will be able to do.
Yeah, but you said something in the beginning that was I had in the beginning like a while ago, that you have people that were working there for 40 years before internet, before all of that, and now they are coming to the end of their career, and they can leave, and we will change a little bit the scope of the job. But as we have this exponential growth, like in 40 years, so much change,
Yes.
and it keeps on speeding up. I don't think we will be able to have that luxury of waiting for people to do their whole career and just change every 40 years a little bit the scope of the job,
Yeah,
right?
yes, that
changing
will be a
faster.
big challenge for us.
Okay.
Yes, that will be a big challenge. But in fact, we can say that even that we have the average of ages in the company, it's around 40. So this means and it is another.
So very young.
Yes,
It's
and
like-
it's yes, I agree. And I didn't say, but it's very interesting to mention that we have third generations in the company.
seriously?
Yes.
Oh,
So
it's really a family business.
yes, we have third generations here, despite we have families. like
Yeah.
husband and wife, son and nieces, nephews.
Is that not a problem?
No, not at all. No, it's not a problem. And I think it's a good sign. And what we, of course, that we know with the young generations, it will be a challenge to keep them here. But as we have this strong family spirit in the company, we have a lot of initiatives to keep them motivated, to keep them with us. We have annual if the company overcome the break even.
Yes.
We have at the end of the year we will distribute a prize for every employee, and fortunately it has been happening since since long time since we implement this.
That's great.
This initiative. So it's also a way of the board or the administration to be grateful to the people, because they are the most important active in the company.
Do you think that people still find it like a retribution for their work if it's something that they get every year?
Yeah, that is a very clever question.
That's why I'm here.
It is a very clever question, because after a while you can notice that it's like something for them is natural. So it's not look like, oh wow, thank you so much, it's an extra, or it's that's true. And especially,
But if you would stop now, it would be seen as something bad, right?
but it's interesting, especially when you have new people coming into the factory, into the company, or they, and when you say this to them, they say, "Oh wow, great, thank you."
Awesome.
I in my last jobs or the places where I worked, I didn't have that. Thank you so much. Or, and sometimes they say this in front of the others, like, you don't know how lucky you are to have a company like this one. That's true. That after a while, it's like it's part of. Is no longer. I cannot. That's why we try to look for other initiatives, like offering the birthday, the day of their birthday.
Off, you can have it off. Right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
We promote in the sections. We promote dinners so that people can make team building. And the company, we have also social funds for if someone has because we already won a prize of social responsibility. That is a very important pillar in the company.
And like now, if you don't mind, I would like to shake things up a little bit.
Yes,
And
yes,
if we
please.
could move a little bit to, no, it's really fun. But like if we could, like, we have here a short segment which we call Press and Guess, and the idea is just to throw out a few questions. And the challenge is for you to try to answer them as fast as you can. So
Okay.
just very fire round. Is that okay for you?
Okay, go ahead.
What would you like AI to learn from you?
My expertise for quality control. I have a very good eye.
Okay, that's scary. So yeah, but you detect everything, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I think that
So-
everybody here can confirm that. They say
Okay,
if Margarida doesn't see it, it's okay.
What is more frightening, a machine that stops without warning, or one that decides on its own to keep on going?
I'm the one that decides to keep on going.
Would you rather have more data or more time?
More data. If I would have more data, I would have more time, for sure.
I thought like time would be the only thing that you cannot buy. But maybe data is also now
But
hard
yeah, but
to
in
buy.
in the industry, data is very valuable.
I know.
You
I'm betting on
you
that.
know that very well.
And would you rather have machines that are faster or smarter?
Smarter.
Okay. And would you rather fix problems faster or prevent them sooner?
Prevent them sooner.
Okay, that's awesome. That's it. Thank you for playing along. Let's see
I'm
how
a
this
perfectionist.
next
That
segment will
is the
go.
problem, I think.
Now, Margarida, let's talk a little bit about yourself, if that's okay. You said that you have this detective eye, and you like to have everything well organized, and I think that's for your position makes a lot of sense, of course. But it's interesting how you started in chemical engineering, right?
Yes.
And today you're leading operations. You also do a lot of business development
Yes.
at the furniture company. So it's a little bit different. Like for me, someone that likes to challenge things, can we say that there are two completely different worlds? Or is there a bridge between these two worlds that you see and just use them on your career?
Yeah, in my case, it's I think that I'm a part of all of that. I have this engineering side, which is very well organized, the procedures, this clear thinking, to always focus on solutions, how to get the best efficiency. So this engineering side. Then I think that there is a strong chemistry between me and the furniture, because for me the furniture is I related it to the beauty and the wood. I really have a crush for wood. It's my favorite material, because you have the touch, you have their smell, you have the colors, and then despite if you transform the wood and it becomes a piece of furniture, it will still alive. So, and this is amazing. But since that I'm very young, or well, it was, I would say, little, that I started to be passionate about photography, then arts, then architecture, then interior design. But I never thought that one day this would be part of my life, besides an hobby or something that a passion, or besides a passion. So in this here, I can have that, I can use my engineering side, apply to something that I can every day. I can be in touch with this beauty, with the arts, with this my passion for the interior design, for architecture. So everything comes together. So I have the best of the two worlds, and I'm very happy in this.
But you said that the wood, it's still alive. It's still
Yes.
an alive product.
Yes.
Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Yes, because even when we are talking about solid wood, if it's hot, or if it's cold, or if it's raining, or if it is wet, she will move. It will move, not she. I talk about wood like if it was a person. That's the
Yeah, exactly. No,
problem.
but that's great. You really have
I get
a
so
great connection
involved.
with the material. Yes.
I get so
Yeah.
involved that, yeah, but in fact it moves. It moves. So it's very interesting. It's a very interesting material.
And does that also become a challenge when in terms of shipping production?
Absolutely. So that's why we need to be very careful about the construction, and depending on the market and depending on the utility of the product, you need to understand humidity. And the best, if you for an outdoor, we need to decrease the humidity, and it's a kind of wood that we will use. Of course, that this then has an impact in the construction, in the kind of wood that you are using, and of course then to understand the humidity of the wood. It's a lot of
But what can happen wrong? Did it ever happen something with you guys?
we have a very funny story. We can say now that it's funny at the time. Once again, it was, yeah, long time ago, long time ago, in fact, that it was our first truck that we sell, first truck full of furniture to Russia. And at
Everyone
the,
was happy. Let's go.
yes, and at that time we worked mainly with solid wood. Now we make a blend of solid wood and wood veneer.
What is the difference very quickly? What's the difference between?
Because the wood veneer is applied on a substrate that can be, for instance, plywood, that is not solid wood, and this combination between solid wood and wood veneer will help the piece of, will help the stability of the
Okay.
the because, like I was saying, because it moves, it can
Mhm.
crack.
Okay.
And it can crack. The doors cannot open. You cannot open a drawer. So,
Okay.
yeah, and
It bends, and so it no
absolutely,
longer
absolutely,
works.
yes, absolutely.
So when
So,
sorry, I interrupted you. What
no,
happened with
no,
that truck?
no, no. It's good, so you can understand. And well, the truck left the factory to Russia. Different kind of, a lot more colder than here. humidity. So what happened is when the truck arrived to Russia, we had a Russian guy calling to the CEO of the company saying, "I'm going to kill you."
And you don't want to hear a Russian saying that, yes.
Exactly. and from from this side, it couldn't speak. So what it said, but what happened? All the furniture, almost all the furniture, cracked during the until it now that it arrived here. I cannot sell this because at that time it was a distributor.
Mhm.
So I cannot sell the furniture the way it is. So after seconds, thinking that maybe your life
You're done.
and saying, okay, we have two options. Or I redo everything,
Mhm.
or I
Which is
just
super expensive, I can imagine.
reimburse you the money of your order. And therefore, it was very interesting because from the other side, nobody was talking for seconds that it looked like an, an hour. And he said, "No, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to repair the furniture here, and I will travel to Portugal and we will make a tour in the factory and I will explain to you what you did wrong and what you need to change." And that's what happened. So
Wow.
this person came here and it in fact it taught us how to do it in a way that this wouldn't happen again. And it was an amazing consultancy, in fact. But it was a very, very difficult situation, as you can imagine.
Well, but that's the type of partnerships that one
Yes,
needs to find, right? That's
yes,
super awesome.
absolutely.
Thank you for listening. And let me just quickly thank today's sponsor, Progro, by asking you this. While listening to this podcast, do you know what is happening on a factory floor? With Progro, you get real time insights from your machines as if you're just talking to them. Download the free app and ask, what is happening with my factory? And a tailor made answer to your production needs will pop up immediately. Also, use our promo code POD1 and you'll get a free IoT device today. Circling back on your life, you worked previously to what you're doing now and working on the bright side of life, which you are now. You were working as a consultant. And how is that move? Because I think like consultants, normally they just tell you what you do. They are not there on a daily basis to make sure it happens. And now you're more on this execution role, of course, with strategy involved and so on. How do you move from one side to the other one?
Yes, in fact, it was really, really important this journey, and I like very, very much. I like very much. Steve Jobs for all of his
And
all
me
that.
too.
Yes, I. But once he said something that I kept it, and I think it's really, really true. Which is when he said connecting the dots, because it was also a little bit like what happened with him. And for me it's clear that every step of my journey was very, very important for me to come to here. For instance, when I thought that besides being engineering I wanted to be a doctor, and I thought that I wanted to study to go into to Spain to learn to be a doctor there, and I had Spanish lessons. Then I was looking for architecture, arts, decoration, interior designs. Then I went to consultancy. I wrote projects. Well, before that, investigation, PhD, procedure, solutions, analysis, then consultancy, writing projects, internationalization projects, R&D projects. So all of this, I need this now. I need the languages. I need the ability for analysis, the ability for taking decisions, for looking for efficiency. So the projects, but now I don't write. I can write the projects, but I need to execute them.
Yes, yes, I know. Now you cannot
And
just say,
that
"Hey,
is
bye bye, see you tomorrow."
yes, that is a big step. That is a big step. And of course, the people. Now I have a big team, and it's completely different to be working on your own or writing a project or presenting a project to a company when you are responsible for that project and you need to be efficient and to execute it.
Yeah, I know, and I know you enjoy watching movies and investigation series, which I also love. So now I understand the detective eye and
Yeah,
the investigation series. So everything comes together.
everything comes together.
But you also love building Lego sets, which is
Yes.
also really interesting. But then, as you said, you have this also creative and cultural side where you have this passion for art, architecture, decoration. If you look at your career now and you're working at AM Furniture Group and you have, of course, a very important position there. But if you could choose like a completely different new career path, what would you now look back and what would you just decide to do it for yourself?
It would be very, very difficult for me to move out or from the furniture industry. Very, very difficult because I think it's very, very, very easy to get attached to this business, and especially because we have an amazing team. We, of course, I think this is all due to this ecosystem and this atmosphere that we have in the company. Then the beauty, the the nice things that we produce. We are very proud of what we do. I think it would be very, very difficult for me to move out to something very different. Maybe one day I can have a boutique hotel.
Seriously, would you like to go into that business? Like a small little hotel, beautiful.
Yeah, but something
Uh,
with an excellent service. But once
okay.
again, the furniture, the details, the
Okay.
interior
Everything.
design all come together. But I think that I couldn't move away from this passion.
But you really like the operation
Yeah,
side
that's
because
it.
a hotel it's like a
Yeah,
lot of moving
yes.
pieces. It's not an easy business to be in.
Once again, leading people, meeting people.
Mhm.
Yes.
And of course, Margarida, I think you have quite a lot of success. But what when you look into hindsight and you look at your career and you look at what is success to you? What does it mean? And has it changed a little bit over time, or do you always have seen success the same way?
Well, I think that now I have more conscience about what it means to me, and I think that I can see it in two ways: a tangible way, which if you have make a valuable work, and the recognition of your work, and this is very tangible, or you have success or you don't. And this is very, very important, especially in my position. But also that intangible aspect, which is the way that you impact the others. So the positive impact that I can have in these people, in the culture, in the organization, in if I can, in especially if I will be able to perpetuate this my legacy. I would love to have this honor of
Okay.
leaving a legacy, and this is I would say the intangible way of success that I see.
Yeah, of course. Now I understand, but I think doing what you want, and like for instance, getting to a phase of your life where you want to open a boutique hotel and being able to do that, I think that's for me something that I see as success. You know, being able to just do what you want and you don't have to do it anymore. And of course, but I completely agree with you. Contributing, giving back, leaving
Yes,
something behind,
yes, yes,
of course, and
yes,
not just using this life that was given to you just for yourself,
yes,
and being part of a whole chain of events. I think it's also,
absolutely, yes.
yeah. So thinking about that, if you could choose a superpower to help you improve your factory efficiency, what would that be?
Everybody to be more consistent, because I think that one of the biggest problems is the lack of consistency. So
Such a
everybody,
COO.
so people need to be consistent, follow procedures, so quality, high standards, and that's absolutely consistency.
I completely understand that. But I just said right now, you're a COO. But how can you describe this? Can you explain what you do, but to a 10-year-old? If
I
you would,
must confess
someone would be here
that
listening.
it's so difficult. It's so difficult for me
Explain that, right? It's not
to
easy.
explain that. And I was thinking in a metaphor
Mhm.
that even with this metaphor, I don't know if a 10-year-old would understand. Maybe would be a little bit confused. It's like we are a big ship sailing in the ocean. I'm the captain of a large crew. We make furniture in the ship, and I need to find the best port to anchor and to sell the furniture. But for that, my people and all the people and the team need to work together. I need to find the best strategy to find the best port, but they need to help me to work so we can arrive to that port, even if we have storms along the way and obstacles along the way, we need to overcome them to arrive to this port. So I don't know if
Yeah, because you have both the COO and the business development side, right?
exactly,
So you're also
exactly.
selling afterwards.
Absolutely, because I'm also in charge of the to understand. Okay, now the market, what the strategy, the business strategy is also with me. That's why I have this need to, when I say this port to anchor to sell the furniture, because it's the business development part that I'm also responsible for. I need to ask to a 10-year-old to see if it is clear. Maybe he will understand that the factory is in the middle of the ocean. I don't know.
Yeah, she will be so confused, she or he. Yeah, but but now, just trying to now think a little bit like, going a little bit to the end of our conversation, which I really enjoyed, and I would love to know a little bit more how you see the furniture business and your sector evolving. When we talked about so many different things, we have materials, we have innovation, we have technology, you have different markets, you have this big ship, but it needs to move really fast, because I have so many different ports you need to be in. So sometimes it's really like it has to be a speedboat. And now you have technology, AI coming in. You have these people working 40 years in your factory, and uh, what? How do you see this moving forward? What will happen?
Well, what we are preparing, and I can talk a little bit about what we are doing, and I think that this can explain a little bit in answer to your question, which is we are preparing ourselves in terms of factory machinery, layouts. We are all also working finding the best raw materials. We this year we have a new purchasing department with a bigger team, so we can find the best suppliers, the best solutions. We have implementing a lot of training courses in the last 2 years. We are now going for a consultancy even for our technical department, because we have 12 technical designers in our technical, or like the Americans call the engineering department, just for production shop drawings or production drawings. So it means that it needs to be a whole whole involvement of all the areas, the technology, the human resources, the innovation, the everything comes together. So, and we have to, and this is very important here, to find the best partners. And the consultancy in this case is very useful and infallible. So that's where, even in terms of finance and our production softwares, we are implementing a new production software. So it's
There's a lot of investment, right? So
exactly,
how
yes,
do you prioritize? I know all of these different investments that they need to do on so many different things. Like going back to the ship, right? They need to
yes,
have new beds, new lighting, new
yes.
systems, and
Yes, we are complete at the moment. We are totally focused on investments in equipment. Absolutely, equipment and installations. Because then, if you move, if equipment, you need to adjust the installations to the equipment. And this is absolutely one of our, and then with equipment, the software.
Yeah.
And then,
Because you said you needed more data. So,
exactly.
yeah.
And all this, of course, to get more data with the new equipment and the new software is to get more data to be able to become more efficient. Yes.
Okay, and when you look at to market trends, to furniture trends, and I know you have this eye for design, do you see many different movements going on, or as it said, it's timeless. It's just we'll keep on doing the same type of furniture, and that's just being faster and doing it in a bigger volume is the challenge.
I'd say that for furniture, it's pretty much like the fashion. You have the prêt-à-porter and you have the haute couture.
Sorry, what?
I like to
There's a
a
problem with
little
the
bit of
sound.
show off with my French.
Exactly. Yeah. No, but really impressive. So, but I really don't know what it means.
Okay, you have fast fashion.
Okay.
You have the fast fashion, and then you have with the high end segment where we are. And I
Okay.
would say that in this fast fashion,
What are the names, by the way? Sorry, just for
prêt à
me
porter,
to. Okay, and that's the.
de haute couture.
Okay. 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 Now I got it. Yeah. So that's like the mainstream, which we say is Zara and so
Yes,
forth.
exactly. Yes, the answer.
But
Yeah.
IKEA, let's say here a little bit IKEA,
Yes,
and then you have.
IKEA or all those, like, if we could compare to the fashion, which are all the brands, they are launching constantly new collections, then they are replacing products, and this is this in furniture that's the same. You have this kind of fast fashion brands or companies, and that, but when we are in our position and we want to stay in the high end segment or in the luxury segment, it's the trend is personalization. It's quality personalization, because in fact the true luxury is that, and you can see in this.
You have a unique piece, right? That's
Yes.
no one else has it.
Yes, or if it's not a unique piece and it's for an amazing what, because we produce for the best hotel chains in the world. It's the you have unique pieces that were designed for that hotel from a very special designer. So, and they need to have to be built like if it was for home. It's you are in the hotel, but because more than everything, what is important nowadays is experience. Is the experience that you get. That is the most valuable thing. So
But do you do the design, or do you have people
we
to
design for
about?
our own brands. When it's for private label, hospitality, we work with the designers, architects, and we can say that we work with some of them are the best in the world. So for me, that is the trend in our position, is the personalization. But of course, the people now and our customers, they are demanding for eco-friendly products, and as we are already working. Besides, we have the certification for FSC, PFC that are related to this sustainable forest, and that every raw material needs to be. We know exactly the origin. It's like the controlled origin of
To passport a little bit,
yes.
right?
But at the same time, we are now working. We start to work in a process of certification for positive luxury, which is very close related to the ESG program, which is once again environmental, social, and governance. So that's why this eco-friendly it's becoming very, very, very important also in the products, and the packaging, everything needs to be more eco-friendly. And of course, then you have all the technologies that allows you to see the product in 3D. And but I would say that in our segment, in the high end, especially this quiet luxury, and of course the eco-friendly, sustainability, which is now this big trend.
The big trends. And you said like, you do any type of furniture, or is there a specific type that you do?
We do every kind of furniture. We can go from a wardrobe to a desk to a chair.
Because there are two different types of furniture that you explained to me.
Yes. We have the French here in the well, we can do whatever the customer wants. But I can give you the example of our collections, and we do the French classical style furniture, which is with then you can check which is the Louis XIV style. If you look to Versailles or the French furniture that you can see when you visit the museums, or well, that very elegant furniture, we do that with the main styles, the Louis 15, Louis 16, the Louis 14. And then we have a very special finishing because we distress the furniture. And when you look at that piece, you think that the piece has 100 years or more, and in fact is brand new, because yes, there is a very manual process that involves several steps, and then you look at the piece and you think that it was produced more than 100 years ago, and it's brand new. And then in the contemporary, we do something completely different with dyed wood veneers that we buy from Italy or from France, and we use marquetry. Marquetry is to combine the wood veneer, and you can make like a sunshine or yes, and then you make inlays with different kinds of wood or different kinds of metal, round shapes, maybe with a little bit of Art Deco influence. So two completely, if I show to you the two pieces, maybe you wouldn't say that they are produced in the same factory.
That requires a lot of.
But that is a big advantage, because most of our customers, it's the way that they can see our expertise, and especially the private label, they come
it's oversight.
Exactly. They come to us because they can see the different, or our ability to do different products.
But sorry, I was trying to get a different explanation, which, by the way, was for a 10-year-old. No, that's very interesting. That you said you have two type of furnitures that when you like move the house around, like if you tilt out, or like if you make it upside down.
Okay, yes. Sorry, I didn't understand. Well, in fact, we produce millwork and FF&E, or loose furniture. The millwork is that when you have the house and what is attached to the house, and if you move the house around, what is falling is the loose furniture, and what stays attached to the wall is the millwork. So, and we are able to do the millwork, which is the wall paneling, the kitchens, the wardrobes, everything that is attached to the doors, attached to the house, and also the furniture that falls down, the loose furniture, or the FF&E, which can be
it's broken. You have to do it again.
Yes.
That's how you resell.
We need to repair afterwards.
Exactly. And have the consultant coming in.
Yeah, which is the tables, the sideboards, the chairs, the sofas. So we can do everything.
By the way, you said something that I wanted to challenge you before, and I forgot. When you try to repair a piece, is it sometimes cheaper for you guys to repair it, or just to build it from scratch?
It depends. We always need to evaluate the problem, or and it can happen that it's less expensive to produce a new one that have someone repairing the piece. But it's always on the issue. It's not.
But then having the ESG here factor, we are trying to be not just to throw stuff away.
No, not at all.
Yeah, are you able to recycle most of the parts?
Yes.
So if you break a piece of wood, you cannot glue it back, right?
Our policies here is the reduce the waste as much as possible. So if something cannot go, we have products that need to be recycled outside the factory. So, and we have a company specialized in recycling, and they are coming from times to the factory so they can collect that product. Otherwise, if it is possible we can reuse it, for instance, to warm up the factory, because we can burn that product, and it will help to, and it will be useful for warm up the factory. So absolutely, we try to recycle or to reuse it as much as possible.
Great, great. And now, really, I promise it's the last question.
No,
Uh,
a pleasure.
just, just to finish up and thinking about someone that is starting their career now and one day is dreaming about leading operations, as you're doing right now, and knowing about how the market is evolving, how technology is evolving, and so forth. I think it's always great to have that context. What do you think they should focus on, and what's the advice you would share with them?
I would start from the background. I would say that engineering, it's in this kind of job. It's of course, Tara. I I'm really passionate by engineering, as you can notice. But I think it's very, very, very important for this kind of job, because it gives you this clear thinking, the ability for taking decisions, to see the scenarios, to understand the process. So starting from the background, but then when in this type of job, it is very important to have the ability to keep the team, to lead a team. So we need to have the ability of leading, but at the same time, to the people to be with you, your team to be with you, to keep them motivated. This is very important when you are leading.
And how do you develop those skills? Because one of them are hard skills, right? To just do a nice, solid career, academic work, and then, but those are soft skills.
Yeah,
How can you train them?
I feel that I'm a very empathic person. Empathy is crucial, and
Once
but
again, how
it's
can you train that?
yeah, but it's not, I think that is something that, or you have it or you don't have it, because you
Okay.
can be more or less polite. That is something that you can learn. You can learn to be polite, but for leading and to be empathic and to have this, you need to be very, and of course, once again, you have to have a good eye.
Okay.
It's very, very important to understand the reaction. So the psychology part is very important. That's why I also, as a business, I work in the business development, and sometimes I'm involved with customers and in projects. And I feel that when a customer or a potential customer, if it comes to the factory, and if I get with them with a tour in the factory, I'm sure he will be my customer.
Yeah. Okay. You already know the moment when he's hooked.
Yeah, exactly. So this you need to be sensitive to people. That's very important. You need to understand the people and to be sensitive to them. But also, it's very important to have the full vision of the business. You cannot be just focused in one department or one area. You need to have a full vision, even if it is in to understand a little bit. Of course, that you are not an expert in everything, but at least you need to be aware what's happening from the finance to the logistics department, going through the creative to the sales. So it's very, very important to have this whole vision of the business, because then it will
360 degree
yes, it will
view.
be much easier for you to take a decision, because you have all the data, or at least as much data as possible.
Because I understand really what I mean, because people like to sometimes be on their department and don't want to share the pains of the other departments, right?
Yes,
And it's very interesting because your position has a little bit of the two sides of the coin that
exactly.
often struggle with, and it's really a type of philosophy that I don't know what works the best. Is you have someone that's only focused on operations and they have to be the best, and then you have another one that is focusing on sales and doesn't care about operations. He's just selling, and then somehow it has to work. Or you have a person like yourself that's already mediating both worlds, but maybe you're not pushing that sale as hard as possible because you're thinking about the constraints you have in terms of operations, and the same way around. So what do we do? What do you advise? I know you're biased because, but does it work in any business? Is that something that it's only your sector?
I think for me it's very useful, and because you can never disconnect, at least in this industry, but I think in all of the industries you cannot disconnect what you are selling to what you are producing. For instance, yesterday I have my monthly meeting with all the sales department, and I need to explain to them that we have technical limitations. For instance, we have a customer that asked us a piece of 380 meters high wall paneling, but our machinery goes until 310, or he accepts to do it in a different way, and we can do it, or we cannot do it. So it's for me it's valuable this to have this possibility, or to have the capability of being in both sides, because you need to produce something that they can sell, but they just can sell what we can produce.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, but are you not sometimes constraining a cell that because you already know it will be harder? It's not impossible. If it's impossible, you cannot sell, right? But sometimes you need to push the line a little bit.
I understand what you are saying, and it can happen, especially in the shop floor, because the people say, no, this is not good for productivity. But at that time, I need to say, but the customer will pay more for that. The customer is willing to pay to have that product. So it's from I totally understand that, and it can happen. But when it happens, what I try to do is to go the other way around. Let's say, okay, this can be not so good for my efficiency or productivity, but I need to go for the financial part. So my customer needs to pay this value, so I can overcome the problem of productivity, or this breakdown in productivity that I will have. So it's trying to find a balance, because at the same time I want the company and the factory to do things that the others are not able to do.
Yes. Like from our side, like if I would ask our engineering team to sell our product, I know that they would just sell exactly what works the best. And we discussed that a lot internally. We said, do we want to have like the most efficient product for us, but no one is using it, and it's super efficient, like it's top notch, or we want to have a product that maybe it's not as efficient from our side, internal side, right? In terms of costs, in terms of deployment, in terms of work that you need, but a lot of people are using it and love the product.
I would go for the option two.
Yeah.
But then I would work to be
So
the
your
more
sales side
efficient.
is bigger than the operational side.
Yes, but then I would try to do to become more flexible, more efficient. Sorry, more efficient as possible.
Okay,
So
yeah.
yes, I like challenges.
Yeah, me too. I love them. I really do. I just don't like to fix the same problem over and over again. I like new problems, but not the same one over and
That's
over.
where the consistency comes.
Exactly. Yeah.
I that is something that annoys me really. If do it again and again, that I cannot understand. That is very difficult for me to understand.
Yeah. For me too. Like I cannot solve the same thing over and over
Yes.
again. So I need to. But I love new problems. That's something that I try to also do. No, I think our job is to get rid of problems, or else,
Yes.
what would we be doing?
Yes, absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's very funny when you bring that to your personal life.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
very, very.
When you're having the same discussion over and over again, and you're trying to say, "Ah, we already discussed this." Yeah,
And
no, that.
and then when everybody thinks that you have a solution for everything.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
look,
yes,
this
yes.
happened. So, oh no, Margarida has a solution.
Yeah, exactly. I know. And you're tired from your day. You just want to relax, and now you have a bunch of problems that people think you like to just solve them. And I would like not to solve a problem. Like, where do you want to go to eat? And please decide yourself. I know I don't want to take any more decisions today. Like my
Exactly.
package is done for the
Exactly.
day. No, you tell me what to do. That's what I want to
I
do.
understand perfectly what you are saying.
Exactly. Hey, Margarita, thank you very much.
Thanks
I
to
really
you.
enjoyed this
Yes,
session. It
me
was
too.
really super
Thank you
fun.
for the opportunity.
Join our connected shop floor communities on LinkedIn and Reddit. And subscribe our channels.